Namaste Bitches. One of my good friends bought me a Namaste Bitches embroidered hand towel years ago from Arkansas at a festival, and I totally loved it, used it for years, and that's kind of the concept I want to talk about today. To say namaste, and I'm not using this concept from the space of yogiism. I'm not using this from the space of its origins or traditions. What I'm using the simple word namaste for right now is the meaning behind it, which is the divine in you sees the divine in me. Saying that, I could say that from my small, egoic, fearful self that says, okay, intellectually, I understand that we're both divine beings because it's in the core of who I am, but it's still a challenge for me to acknowledge the divine in you. Like, I can say, yes, I intellectually, the divine in me sees the divine in you, but there still feels like a separation, a fearful separation. Or there is a way of seeing that is, okay, well, we are equal, and I do acknowledge you, and we are of equal divinity. And then proper sight, which is, whoa, my highest self actually can see that your highest self exists and is pure and all-knowing and super powerful, super loving, and I see you there, but I'm seeing you from the vantage point of my highest self with your highest self. And this is the intention behind everything that I do in life. It's just my hounding down the trail of finding the truth, and proper sight and clear vision is what I seek in my personal and professional life. So seeing is important to me. And then there's the I see you divinely, and I still want you to move across the country because you're really annoying me. Or specifically for energetically sensitive people like me who have learned and always sought the truth to viscerally, in the physical body, pick up on everybody else's junk around them. So when somebody who's super heavy walks in the room, we're like, oh my God. And I mean heavy in that energetic sense. Or when somebody who walks in is very anxious, and then we're like, dude, why am I twitching from anxiety right now? Because we can pick up on their bodily issues. That, it takes a lot of ego to do that kind of work, to align and to know that, like what the other person is experiencing. And when I say that, that's not a bad thing, because the self that is the perceiver of all things is the traveler between all of the frequencies of the darkest spaces in ourselves, the most fearful egoic spaces in ourselves, and the highest spaces in ourselves. And when I say ourselves, I mean as a one body collective. And when I say ourselves, I also mean as an entire world universe. I wouldn't stop the world universe collective of the ranges that we can travel through vibrationally and through frequency. So the self is the traveler. So using the self to access a higher vantage point of seeing somebody else who is the pain in the ass that we see divinely, but also they drain us physically. We have also the access to witnessing them from our higher selves and recognizing, oh, they are actually just vibrating in their limitation. They are not their ego self. They are not their blah, blah, blah. They are not anything that we would prescribe them to be or ascribe them to be. They are only in choice and acting in choice of their limitation. So to see somebody from our highest self and acknowledge from a vantage point of seeing above it that they're just acting on a different choice than they either have access to knowing that they can make, which is to ascend to being out of their fear, or they just don't want to be out of it, and that's okay. So to see that, to kind of witness their game, almost, that they play with themselves in life, puts us in a position of actually not having to fix, which is, I think, why we learn how, like, what everyone else is feeling around us. Okay, well, my worth is validated if I fix this person, if I help this person, I want them to understand that I know what it's like to feel oppressed. I know what it's like to feel like you are very ill. I know what it's like, blah, 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 blah. I want to connect with this person basically over our problems, which is not the way that it has to be, because here's what happens then. We get drained. We're like, oh my God, this person's super heavy. And then we leave feeling super drained. And we're going, why am I picking up on this person's stuff? Why am I carrying the burden of this person's stuff for them? To witness they don't need anybody to carry their stuff, because all they're doing is playing a game with them. selves. They're playing a game with themselves. So they're operating from a paradigm that we can see above and go, oh, I don't even want any of that. And that doesn't make me a shitty person. It doesn't make me unsympathetic. It means, oh, I acknowledge that like the highest part of yourself isn't actually showing up right there, and that's totally cool, but I'm not going to attend to that. I'm not going to show up to that game that you're playing with yourself. So to acknowledge somebody as not being heavy, dark, the energy soul suck, they're not actually that thing. They assume the position of buying into their limitation. And that's what we feel in our physical bodies, all of their limitations. So they're not that thing, and we don't even have to vibrate to understand how they're feeling anymore. We don't have to vibrate with the frequency of their frequency to connect with them, to understand how they're feeling. We don't need to go to those places to remember what it was like to feel those things. And we also don't need to stay away from those people, because those people are not the density that we ascribe to them. They are the highest self. And when we assume their limitation with them, we go into our own limitation, and we don't have to do that. So let's see people who we are like, oh, dude, can you please get away from me? Let's not see them as that thing that we feel, that heaviness, that density, or any of the other ways that we intuitively pick up what they are. But let's see them as in operation of their own limitation. That's all. Simply that. Namaste, bitches.